This is Tom from Bank to Bank Bass Fishing. Today we're going to pour some molds, specifically Shaky head mold. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you some of the items we're going to be using. Welding gloves, casting dipping spoon, do-it mold, pliers, 3/0, 4/0 hooks. Got this filter here to help reduce any lead contamination. Wax for our flux in case I add more lead. This will help get rid of any contamination. Got the screw locks. Gonna get everything ready over here. It's starting to melt. I'm gonna stir it up a little bit. Oh, look at it. It looks real good. Oh, it's real good. Get a little more of that melted down. Other than that, it's all good to go pretty much. It's good to get the spoon here to the temp of the lead too, so it doesn't stick. As you can see, it's getting all cooled down and stuck to the spoon. We'll leave that spoon in there just for a little bit too. That way it'll get up to temp and then just roll right off. If it's not up to temp, it'd be harder to pour and it gets all over the place. We'll let that sit in there a little bit and get that up to heat. Since the lead is getting up to temp again, looks like everything, get this nasty shit off the top. Dross. Doesn't matter if it's got a little lead in it. Just get it off of the aluminum can there and keep doing that. As you see, the spoon is up to temp now. It just rolls right out instead of solidifying on the spoon itself. So that'll make it easier for pouring. I'm going to turn down the heat a little bit. You want to keep it around 650. I don't have a temperature probe, so we're just going to have to just turn down the heat and hope for the best. A good tip for helping the jigs release from the mold is getting them suited up. You take a wax candle, just basically run it over it, run the mold right over it. You can't really do it with one hand here, but basically you'll get all the different molds in there suited up from the candle. This will help release the jig heads from the mold itself. Alright, now we can start putting the little components into the mold itself. Make sure everything's getting inside where they need to be. This is the most tedious part of it. So we'll put a few there. We'll put a 3/0 right in there. Make sure it just fits nice and neat in there, like a puzzle. And then you can do that for the rest. I'm going to use 2 3/0 and the rest 4/0. 4/0 seems to be a good size for the mold here. So the rest of them will be 4/0. We'll get those out ready. Put those in the mold, close them up, and make sure you get that good aluminum sound of the closing, and heat the mold up. We'll put it beside the flame and start pouring. Alrighty, we got all the hooks in there now, as you see, nice and neat and in their specific cavity. So what I'm gonna do is close this slowly, not to disturb the hooks and screw locks. Make sure we get a good seal. That feels pretty good. Next, I'm going to bring it over to the lead. I'm going to set it on top carefully. Let that mold heat up a little bit. That way when I go pour the lead, everything will settle nice and neat inside the mold itself. So we got everything here. The mold's getting warm. The lead's ready to go. Now I'm just going to skim off the top there, get that nice shiny stuff. You see the spoon's not up the temp. Keeps sticking to the leg, keeps sticking to the spoon, so we'll let the spoon warm up. Scrape off some of this contaminant. As the spoon gets up to temp. It's gonna be really hard to pour with one hand here. I like to hold the mold a little tight so it gets a good pour. I'm going to grab a big old spoonful. It should be enough for 2. And I'll just do 2 pours per jig mold. Let's try it. Grab more. Should be good to go. Ooh, that might not work. That might be a bad pour. Yeah, that's going to be a bad pour. Not perfect, but we'll do a few more and we'll be on our way. Not sure if you can see everything here, but I'm gonna slowly open this. There we go. Got some jig heads ready to be taken out of here. Looks like they'll come out pretty easy. All you gotta do is grab it by the thing. I recommend grab it by the actual sinker itself, but it gets pretty hot, so we're just gonna do it this way. There you go. I don't know if you see that. Perfect jigs. Now that I poured a few jigs, I can cut off the excess lead, which is called a sprue, and get ready for the powder coat. Alrighty, getting the jigs ready to get the powder coat on them. I'm baking them all at once, so it's a bit easier to just simply coat them with the powder paint. Here's the ProTech powder paint I'm using. Watermelon flake and black blue flake. You want to shake them up a bit so they're nice and loose. If it's too compact, it'd be too hard to dip the jig in there. And I'm just going to use the candle method here to heat them up. For a couple, it's really easy just to do with the candle. Some people use the heater here, but it's just as simple to use this candle. You want to take a toothpick and get it loosened up a bit, so when you dip the jig, it dip right in there nice and easy. That's good. Now I'm going to heat up the jig and get to dipping. All you gotta do is heat up the jig head for a little bit. You'll get a hang of it once you get a feel for it. 10 to 12 seconds depending on the size of the jig. Watermelon flake. Shake it off. Sometimes that wire doesn't get hot enough, but you can just dip it back over the heat and good to go. I'm going to do a black and blue flake here. I'm going to heat this up. This one's been heating in this little oven over here. Again, just dip it in quickly and shake off the excess. Get you a nice black and blue flake jig. Now that I'm done powder coating each and every one of them, I can stick them into the toaster oven to cure at 350 for about 15 minutes. This will ensure each and every one of them will have a nice hard coat to prevent any chipping. So I'll come back in 15 minutes and we'll check them out.